guys.
Hey,
How you guys doing?
doing all right. Doing all right. Just
Nice.
a pretty day here for us. So we've been opening the windows and such.
Same here. It's been pretty hot where I'm at. There's like heat warnings and stuff, so trying to keep cool.
Oh, crazy.
I didn't know it ever actually got hot in Canada.
Yeah, I can. It's not a common thing, but
Yeah. Yeah, where are you in Canada?
in Edmonton, Alberta.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, like this whole week it's supposed to be like I think over 40 degrees Celsius. So
Ooh, that's hot. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that's hot.
yeah, like I do this in the basement, so I'm pretty good right now. And how about you guys? Where are you situated at right now?
We are in Lake Tahoe, California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
So
we
also a place not known for its heat.
Yeah.
In the summer, it's pretty pleasant. The place we're at doesn't even have air conditioning because it's so like
Oh, okay.
normally like not necessary, but it's been getting a little warmer.
Yeah, for sure. And are you guys from there, or where you guys are from originally?
originally we're actually from Louisiana in a city
Oh.
called Baton Rouge.
Okay.
So we grew up there, and then we came out here like 5 months ago now.
Oh, really? Oh, pretty
yeah.
recent. Jeez.
Yeah. So we had been in Louisiana for some time. But
25 years.
yeah.
Minus a year.
Yeah.
Nice. So what was the reason for the move there?
My girlfriend has a cabin out here. And so she had kindly invited us to come hang out for a little while. And so we weren't going to say no.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so like, are you guys situated with like jobs and everything too then?
Yeah,
Yes.
we've been Matthew, he works as at a restaurant in town here.
Oh, okay.
And
But then we both work a separate job.
yeah, we both work the graveyard shift at night of doing janitor work at a local rec center.
We're night custodians.
Yeah.
Oh, what are those
Great.
hours then?
What's that?
What are those hours then for you at night?
It depends. Like for example, tonight we'll be there like 6 to 2:30 a.m., like 6 p.m. to 2:30 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But sometimes it can be like as late as like
8 to 4. Yeah. So
Oh, geez. Okay. So like, is it is that more of the full-time gig? Then do you do the restaurant like a part-time then, or?
I'm basically like full time between the two of them.
Oh,
So
damn,
I
all
just
right.
like I kind of like alternate days. Yeah.
yeah.
When do you sleep? Jeez.
Normally up until right now. So this is a great start to my day. Yeah.
We've
Having
tried
coffee.
to remove,
Yeah.
we've tried to remove the sleeping and the food aspect of being human for us.
Yeah.
We figured out that if you can just skip sleeping and eating, you have like a bonus like 9 to 10 hours a day that you just are wasting otherwise.
Right.
True enough. Yeah.
So,
I agree.
so
I would if I could go without sleeping, I would totally do it. I would get so much done.
You should give it a try. Become a
know,
night
right?
custodian, and you very well may.
Yeah, that must have been tough to kind of switch to like that kind of schedule then, right? Kind of get yourself sleeping during the day. You must have like had to stay up a bit to get going there.
Yeah, it's been a little tricky, because also inevitably what ends up happening is like we wake up for some 9 or 10 a.m. meeting that we have with either a manager or someone, and so generally we actually end up only getting like 5 hours of sleep. But yeah, so it's been a little rough. I think for us though, we know that we're gonna be in like 2 months now moving just down south to Los Angeles. So we'll be so we kind of, this is a short-term thing, so we thought just get as much money as we can in the meantime.
Yeah, true enough. Save up a bunch before you move. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, guys, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate you hopping on with me and everything.
Absolutely.
And I'm a huge fan. I love your guys' music big time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I love it. And yeah, so when you guys said you were down for this, I was super excited.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no worries. So I guess so how long, like how about how long have you been doing the band now?
In like true capacity, really only about 2 years of
wow.
being being Sorry Ghost and kind of dedicating the amount of time and energy that we do to it. Before that, Matthew and I have been playing together since we were 18, freshman year of college.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so we had been playing together in what turned into Sorry Ghost, and kind of had various iterations of lineups and sound changes and name changes and all of that. So yeah. So that's kind of well, I guess we've been doing it for a hot minute.
Yeah, Daniel and I have been making music together for 7 years. Okay. 2 to 3 of those have been productive.
Yeah.
And it's the most recent 2 to 3 that have been the productive ones.
Yeah.
So
gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So the chemistry's there then. That's good.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
Nice. And yeah, so I think because I was watching some videos, so you guys originally had the band name as Sorry, just Sorry before, right? So how did Ghost get added in?
So originally, it was just Sorry, and it was SARI. Stupid iCloud storage popped up trying to bother me.
Don't they know we're in an important interview?
I know. I'm telling it to go right away. That's like Adobe Flash Player. Like
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
I will never pay for Adobe Acrobat.
But yeah. So we had been just Sorry, and then it was SARI, which, as you probably know, is like the Indian garb that is worn, and we just were like, this is not gonna work as a name for long term, because first of all, it was impossible to search for. If you would search Sorry, it would just be like a dress shop near you. Yeah, like where to buy a Sorry. And then there was all kinds of issues of like, well, none of us have any sort of Southeast Asian heritage, so then that's also questionable. So we just were like, you know what, this name has got to go. And I think the true story behind where then the Ghost came is it was like 10 minutes before a show, and they needed to know how to announce us, and we were like, oh god. So we were just in the green room trying to think of something, and we came up with Ghost because at the time we were both into, and Matt still listens to them a little more than I do, but the band Ghost.
Okay.
And we were like, oh wow, it would be cool if we could make music like that. And we thought we'll never actually be able to make music that technically proficient. So we're like, we'll just be the Sorry version of Ghost.
Okay, nice.
And so that's the origin of the name, is basically with the Swedish metal band.
Nice. That's
whom we have no other obvious overlapping qualities, other than 50% of our name is 100% of their name.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our origin story as we tell
That's pretty cool. I like that one. And because you guys had, what was it, originally 4 guys in the band?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then dropped down to you guys, and so did it kind of just part ways naturally, and you guys were just like, all right, like we're cool with just us 2 doing everything?
Pretty much. It was always just like it was a chore kind of to get the other 2 original guys more heavily involved in it, as we sort of decided that we wanted to pursue it and really do it properly. And so it was just kind of like missed practices, things like that, and just over and over again. So those just sort of naturally kind of I guess petered out, but it
was definitely like, it was a misalignment in sort of like, what is the goal with the band, whereas I think Daniel and I has always been sort of aligned with like, we want to sort of continue this route and try to see where it takes us. Where the other guys were more in a position, like one of them was working full time and just like couldn't really realistically make it, and then the other was in school to be an engineer, and he's like, once I graduate, like I'm going to be an engineer. So like it's one of those careers that's just like incompatible with like, we're going to be on the road for like 2 weeks at a time doing shows and stuff. So there was never any like animosity, and we're still good friends with the guys, but it was just something where our goals and theirs just were a bit misaligned, and it just came to a natural place of like, we weren't in the same place anymore, and we just found ourselves just moving in different directions.
Yeah, it would be hard having like half the band kind of halfway out when you guys are so serious about it. So
it's one of those things. It's just kind of everyone has to be on the same page with things like music, because it's already hard enough to do anything with it. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
if you have people that are kind of on a different wavelength, they just sort of hold you back. And so we had to kill them. We executed them. We took them out back.
They're
We
out
shot
there.
'em.
It was just your standard ritual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
They're
of course.
deceased, but rest in peace to them.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's
but yeah, felonies aside, that's how we got to
Yeah.
the state at which we find ourselves.
Nice, of course. Okay. And because you guys, your debut album there, which was awesome. So
Yeah.
because when that came out, so did you guys get to do any live shows like with those songs? Because it was pretty much right when the
Yeah.
pandemic hit, right?
Yeah, that album was released April 1st, 2020. So
Which, as you know, was right in the middle of what
Right
I'm
there.
being told is a global pandemic.
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, we
Didn't get a
we did
chance to.
zero shows on as well. We
Yeah.
didn't do any like crowd shows. We did a few live streams, things like that. Did one like at the House of Blues in New Orleans, and just live streamed venue stuff. But no,
Nice.
we've yet to play really most of those songs. Some
Yeah.
of them we'd had like kind of beforehand and had played before they were officially released. But no, most of them have never been played to a live
Wow.
audience.
Which I think is really indicative in the fact that if like I sit down with the guitar and I'm like, how do these songs go? Half the time, because it was the worst like storm of things of some of the songs were written just before the like pandemic, and there wasn't shows happening. Like we weren't doing shows, and we were just recording, and then it was released, and then it's now been a year since then with no shows. So I'm like, man, I gotta I gotta learn how to play these songs again.
I know, like if you don't get a chance to practice or play them that much, it's like learning it all over again. It's so annoying. I hate it.
I know. We're just sitting there like asking our producer, can you send the stems for these tracks? We're like, we're trying to remember how this part goes.
Trying to learn my own songs by ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much like me too. I've had it where like I'll capo it and I'm like, wait, was it on the 3rd fret? Was it shit? So I'm like really messing around to figure it out. And then I gotta write it down so I don't forget again.
No, I've started doing this thing where like if I have like a little idea, I'll do just like a voice memo of it or whatever. But then I'll have an addendum second voice memo that just says instructions for such and such recording your previous. So it's like, okay, so this one's played at this part on the fret with these whatever. Because I've had it happen so many times where I have to take like an hour just to figure out something that I come up with like a week prior, and it's just out of my brain.
Yeah.
So now they all have like little vocal instruction manuals that say like, here's how to play this song, stupid. Like, and then I'll figure it out.
Nice. There you go. There was one point where I actually like I don't think I have it on here anymore, but I had Guitar Pro, like the tabbing. I tabbed out a bunch of songs. I was like, I should like do this more often.
I know.
It's really the way to do it.
Always worth it. We've done it for 1 or 2 songs, and we're like, wow, we still reference those to this day when we're trying to like work on a part or something. So yes, I highly recommend.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I guess with things kind of getting like lifted and all that, is there any shows lined up for you guys?
We are, we would love to play. We're actually this week sitting down with our manager over Zoom, and with some actually just a friend of ours now named Olivia, who was very kind and offered to just help with the band in any way. When she had just graduated college a couple weeks ago, and sent us an email. It's like, I would love to help book shows for you. We're like, yes, we will absolutely take you up on that.
We'd love to hear it.
So yeah, we are kind of tentatively planning out just a few things of how that'll look for the fall this week. So
awesome. So
crossed.
Things in the works. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. I know I'm dying to play a show. It's gonna be so nice after how long it's been.
Yeah,
I know.
Just craving it, man.
Yeah, totally.
The weirdest thing I feel like is how quickly I'm seeing like it went from like 0 to 100. It wasn't like there was like, small venues with like social distancing, or big venues with, like everybody has to stay in their seats or whatever. It went from like there's no shows to like Foo Fighters playing Madison Square Garden to 20,000 people.
Sold out.
Like,
yeah.
Wow, I was not expecting that in the slightest.
Yeah.
There was it was just like everyone wants to go, let's let them go.
Yeah.
Because I think at the Foo Fighters they just had to show they're fully vaccinated thing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's so crazy because even like a month and a half ago, I remember hearing about artists catching a lot of flack for doing shows too soon, that even those were like distance, but they were just like slightly irresponsibly soon.
Mm.
And like I remember, I think in particular, like I think Machine Gun Kelly was doing like
Oh yeah,
streaming
he was
shows.
doing this, like,
Yeah, I
full-
see. I
Yeah.
seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was just slightly too early, but it was like 6 to 8 weeks ago. It wasn't like it was,
yeah,
you know, like months ago. It was like, yeah, it was like last month it was not okay. And then now it's like, you know, all bets are off.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's because I was wondering how that was going to go. I figured, yeah, they would start slow with like limited
Right.
capacity, like all
Exactly.
that stuff. But
Nope.
yeah, no, they were like, no,
Yeah.
forget it. Let's just do this.
yeah, yeah.
Which is good. Like the venues have been suffering like terribly.
Yeah.
So many have closed. And,
So many did.
Yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah,
No, the
Sucks to see.
landscape is going to be very different, I think, for especially for smaller venues and for venues that are like the size that bands of our size would be playing at. I'm really curious to see like if there's a significant amount of them that just were not able to survive, because a lot of them are also like restaurants and bars and things that were like somewhat able to still sustain business. But if it's just like a truly standalone venue,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so hard and during the entire pandemic to have any sort of revenue coming in, and a lot of them had to like shut their doors, unfortunately.
Yeah, because I don't know how it was in the States there. I know like there was like no funding here like that helped any venue
Yeah.
here. So it was just there's like literally trying to hang on
Yeah,
I
as
know.
long as they can.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was brutal. But and it was so what have you guys like besides like writing new music, what else have you been up to during this whole, you know, closure of not being able to do anything?
Yeah, we've tried to stay very busy. So we've written a bunch of new music. We've released a couple songs now, and we've also just been really kind of focusing on sort of the overall like idea and image of who we are and how we want that to be portrayed when now that shows are starting again, and you can really sort of get back to the face-to-face interaction.
Mhm.
And I think that it sounds like it'd be easy, but it's actually taken us so many months to kind of fashion what we're going for with our sound and like I said, our image and kind of all of that has been way more curated than I ever thought that it would be when you start music. I just want to play some shows and
Yeah,
write
exactly.
some songs. And now it's funny just kind of working with a manager and marketing teams and publicists and being like, well, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. That's crazy. So how did because when did you guys start getting that, like getting into there with management and like more publicity and stuff like that?
Yeah, that
Was
all
that kind of
started
recent or?
relatively recent. So basically we put out The Morning After in April 2020, and then our manager Tate Logan, who's
of Tate Logan fame, but also
Yeah.
of the band Happy.
Oh,
fame
okay.
as well.
Yes.
yeah. So he reached out to us probably a month and a half after the album came out and just said, I really liked it. I've been watching you guys for a little bit now. And it was like, I would like to manage you. And so we started kind of setting that up, and then he helped introduce us to a bunch of people that were good to know and things like that. So yeah, really it's only been 9-10 months kind of that we've been involved in more of the like industry.
Gotcha. Okay. I was reading one interview thing you did. So did it like with him, getting in touch with you guys, did that happen after that interview? Because I know it was like, who would you like to work with? And I know you listed him in there, or Happy anyway.
I actually don't remember that at all.
Maybe it was
It was
actually, you're
probably-
probably right, because it probably that interview could have been like April,
Yeah.
right, the month.
Yeah, I
that
think it
the
was
album-
right when you guys released
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Oh,
because
that
I
is
remember
so
reading,
bad. I completely
yeah,
forgot
like
about that.
influences who you want to work with, and I remember you listing Happy in there. So it's funny how that kind of turned out.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah, no, you're
That
now
interview.
that you mention it, I do have a vague memory, because I remember we were kind of talking about like, oh wow, Tate seems like a really cool person
Yeah.
to work with and kind of get involved with. And so
And, like, who are some other people in the scene
Yeah.
that are like doing what we would like to do, just at a better level. Like
Yeah.
they figured it out and they're a couple steps ahead, and like
So-
Tate really like came to mind.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
there you
willed
go.
it into
Yeah,
existence.
there you go. Yeah, exactly. Put it out there, and it came true, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Man, I gotta
And,
go find that interview.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you too, just because with the recent news, I know you listed Mark Hoppus as well. Like how, like
Yeah.
obviously you guys seen the news with him and the
Yeah.
cancer. I
Yeah.
was very, very sad. Very sad. news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really sad. That actually like really bummed me out.
Oh,
For,
same. Because
yeah,
Blink 182 is like my top influence. That's why I started playing music when I was a
yeah,
kid.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
I know it's yeah. It was a really surreal feeling, and I just remember too thinking like I think the hardest part is sort of sitting there and feeling like wow, like I still have this image in my head of Blink 182 in their 20s and
Mhm.
touring around the world and doing all sorts of shenanigans that they did. And so it's kind of just surreal to think of someone now like yes, people do age and then life does happen. And I think that was just a really strange moment to think
Yeah.
about.
I think it's because, we view them like we put them on a pedestal, like they're
Yeah.
these like, giants to us. And then we don't think that, these terrible things can happen to them.
Right.
And then when it does, it's just, it bums you out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's definitely kind of like Daniel saying this idea of like all those guys as being sort of like almost like preserved in amber of like
Yeah.
from the 90s and the early 2000s of
Yeah.
like that's who Blink 182 is. And then you like see pictures of them and like, oh yeah, like I mean I saw them like a couple of years ago, like they're still active and touring and everything. But it is funny to like, oh yeah, that was them and that was like 20 years ago, and they are still like they're just people that are still just living their lives, and the same things that happen to everyone else can also happen to them, despite being able to go and like on YouTube and like watch a video of them when they were like 25.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But I hope he goes through it. I think he can fight it. So
Yeah, I
All the
think so
best.
too. Yeah, he's definitely. It's so sad because I think it couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
Oh, for sure.
We've never met Mark, but we've worked with people that have now, and no one has ever said an ill word on his behalf. So
I can't imagine anyone saying a bad thing about him.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I hope he gets better soon, and should be good. And then it's kind of funny how you said like because they're all involved too, and even Travis, like me and my drummer, we joke all the time. It's like Travis is like single-handedly bringing pop punk back into like the mainstream. It's always like these songs just featuring Travis Barker, produced by Travis Barker. It's like, oh my god.
It's insane. It really is. Yeah. You look at any of the Spotify playlists right now centered around pop punk or the scene or emo or whatever, and it's just like the top 10 are always like feet.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. And there was one, I don't know if you've seen that one funny meme. It was with the scene from Captain Phillips there.
Oh, okay.
Was,
yeah.
like the whole captain thing. It's like white rappers, Travis Barker. It's like, you play pop punk now.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, okay, that's accurate.
No, I mean, that's the thing. It's literally like become a meme at this point where Travis Barker's like, well, I guess I'm doing this now. And it's just like, because it's such an interesting transformation. It's like backwards, because I feel like I remember in the like late 2000s and like early teens, Travis Barker was like the featured drummer on like all these hip hop tracks, and he was like really, and especially back when he was working heavily with like DJ Am and everything, and like he was the like crossover guy from like rock that had been like accepted into hip hop, and then now it's like he's established there, and then now he's like pulling them back in the other direction.
Yeah, it's definitely it's been interesting. There's been a lot of good music though, that's for sure.
Yeah,
like I was really impressed with the MGK album.
Yeah.
At first I was like, I don't know, that's gonna be weird. Like
I know. I think everyone was. Yeah.
But no, surprisingly, it was really good.
Yep.
There's a lot of tracks I just listened to on that one.
Yeah, it's a good time to be in pop punk bands for sure.
Yeah, no, I was just saying because it's like we were on hiatus for like a few years, and then we decided to like start writing and stuff again, and then this happened. It's like, oh, we kind of timed it good. It's kind of more popular again.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's definitely similar for us. It's like it's funny trying to basically conceptualize ourselves of like, we know we were a band before the pandemic, but so many, like the bulk of our audience has come as a result of the album, and like doesn't know us before that. So it's like trying to sort of like sculpt that the image of what we are, like Daniel was saying, but also in the world that you're saying now, where it's like pop punk has become oddly almost mainstream again. It's just like, okay, we have to like completely reassess what the landscape is as we like form ourselves going forward.
Yeah. And has that, like, with that being said, has that made you look at writing the songs in a different way at all?
Totally has. Yeah. I think we go back in the studio. We're excited in just about 3 weeks now, mid-July. And we have been working on some that we're really excited about, and it's just funny because they're not songs that we would have written even a year ago, I think, just for where we were kind of developmentally with our music. And so it is funny because these songs are much more like inspired by pop punk, or kind of we're I think kind of experimenting a little bit ourselves to see what we can do and push for us.
And did you kind of implement that with Like a Thief and Kites there too?
A little bit. Those were, it's funny, it's like if we had a graph here, it's like, you know, Morning After just like solidly in this little pop punk world. And then these are like, okay, like getting a little outside. And I think we're really excited. July 30th, we'll be dropping our third single. So yeah, I think that's going to be super exciting to see kind of how that one does, but it's even a little farther too.
Oh, okay.
And so I think, yeah, it's like we're getting, and then these three are like, whoa, now we're getting
just real.
swirly.
Okay.
So
who knows what's gonna happen next?
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear those then.
Yeah.
So is it gonna eventually be like an EP or an album, or are you guys just going like single right now, single after single?
Excellent question.
it's that's been a topic of kind of hot debate, basically with us and sort of our people that we work with now, just sort of seeing, because everyone now is advising singles are the way to go. It's just it's not advantageous anymore, but it is hard because we put a ton of time and thought into The Morning After and strategically placed the track list and everything like that. And I think it's a little bit of a bummer, but also just kind of the reality of it now is like, oh, people don't really care unless you're, you know, kind of in that more established world.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we did too. We're just, because we did 5 songs, we're gonna do an EP, and then we looked more at it and we're like, yeah, let's just do like a single every month.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're really established, like no one's gonna really just go, oh, hey, an EP or an album.
I know.
Like I remember hearing one interview with Nothing Nowhere, him kind of talking about that, and he made a good point where he's with how the world is today, there's so much more music to listen to.
Right.
So with albums, it's kind of dying off that way. I was like, that's true. Like I remember back then, you know, before Spotify, there wasn't much option besides like buying CDs and stuff.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know. Isn't it weird kind of being in that wave where like we all remember what pre-Spotify was like, pre-streaming, where it was like, okay, yeah, you have iTunes, but you have to purchase it, or you have LimeWire or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
A smaller band like us, like go to our Bandcamp and you can download our songs, or like our Reverb Nation if you really want to give like a throwback. But yeah, it's funny watching the landscape change to where it's like like you said, there's just music is happening too quickly for you to be able to get the attention of someone for more than one song at a time. So you're like, why would I give you more than one song at a time if that's the only thing that there's space for, especially with like the prevalence of things like playlisting through Spotify and everything. It's like, you can't playlist a whole album. And if one song from the album is going to make it to the playlist, why not just release that one song and then in 6 to 8 weeks, release another song that will replace it on the playlist. So you'll always have growth on each track, rather than it being like these 3 songs did really well and then like a handful of people listen to the other like 10 on the album.
Exactly.
No,
it's because did you guys were you for like the MySpace? Do you remember MySpace?
I
remember promoting. That's how we did our band when we first started, was just MySpace. Oh god.
I know. And I still remember kind of the first fleet of bands that came out of MySpace. I think of like Metro Station and Boys and Girls and stuff like that.
Starship.
Yeah, Cobra Starship.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is funny to think, just like it's definitely an industry where it's like, all right, every 3-4 years you gotta basically reinvent everything you thought. So.
Pretty much, it's and the whole streaming world's, it's very interesting now with music, right? Like, it's just quite the change, but it's awesome too at the same time, because you can like discover so many different bands, musicians. Right. Like that's how I found you guys, right? Was just like the release, like my release Friday on Spotify. Because it would just give me like random bands, right? And I remember it was Nosedive. And it was just like, oh yeah. And then
It's funny, like I waffle on whether or not like streaming is a net positive for bands, and I tend to fall on the side that it is, because I think you're right, like the kind of ability to reach audiences instantly, and like even just someone on the street, like again, like I find like at people at work and just people I meet out in public, just being like, oh, you're in a band, like how can I listen to your music? Like Spotify, and you can have our entire catalog instantly.
Yep.
It's not like, oh well, like tune to your local rock station and wait for like 8 hours and then like maybe this song will come up in rotation. Like it's definitely, I know there's a lot of problems in terms of like how royalties are paid out, and that Spotify is just not great for generating revenue. But if you sort of reframe it as like, this isn't a revenue generating tool, this is an audience reaching tool, and you generate revenue through, once you've built that audience, you then do shows and you tour and you sell merch and physical copies, and that's how you actually like survive on it. And I think it makes it a little more sense in like an internet world.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, 100%. And one question I was going to ask you guys, so like when you do a release, like in your guys, how do you plan it out so that like your single is going to get, a lot of streams, a lot of coverage?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things where it's like you can obviously submit it for editorial playlists and other things like that. How do you guys usually go about it?
Another excellent question.
For these past 2 releases, for Like a Thief and Kites, we have been blessed by the Spotify gods.
Named
Alice. I would say yes.
Shouts out to Alice.
Yes, thank you, Spotify. We thank her at least once a day, just because it is absolutely amazing how helpful that's been for being on the editorials for us, for sure. So that has really helped. But Matt and I kind of have a common saying between us that we can only prep for what we can control, so we never ever prep for like, whoa, we'll get on these playlists. So for on that end, we just basically we launch it, at least the kind of the rollout plan for us 6 weeks before, and that's when we start gathering materials, gathering new photos related to it, making sure that the video is either in the final stages of being filmed and edited, or we are just about to do that to make sure that we have visuals for it. We then kind of, as it gets closer, I just email a bunch of contacts that we've now kind of developed over the months, and just like, hey, just kind of wanted to drop this for you. Here's a private SoundCloud link. If you dig it, it drops, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So that kind of thing, reaching out to friends and family always, and then pre-saves are really big. So we kind of always we found that if you just sort of create an environment that is exciting and full of energy, and I hate the word, but hype for it, then you create this whole thing around it. And so I think that's been big, is for us to sort of put the energy into being like, okay, we're not just going to say new song drops and whatever, please save it. It's just like, it'll just get lost. So you have to do things like we did a baby shower for Like a Thief, and we treated Like a Thief as if we were giving birth to this single. And that really helped to drive up the pre-saves. With Kites, it was kind of the idea that we were stranded on an island. And so we sent out an SOS for a save our single type thing. Nice. So I think that's the kind of stuff that just really has been paying off for us, is just putting in the extra time and effort.
Yeah, just figure you're being a little bit more creative with it.
Yeah, exactly. And like thinking of like, if I were the audience in this situation, and like I like the music, I like your band, but like I'm not necessarily likely to just engage on the basis of like, you ask me to save your song. So it's like, what's something that we could potentially offer? How can we frame it in a way where like, I want to be a part of this, rather than just like, oh, I'll just listen to the song when it comes out. Right. And like trying to think of clever ways to, like we did with Kites. I was like, you know what, if you pre-save Kites and you show us, I'll write you a haiku. And by the end of it, I'd written about 80 haikus.
Oh, there you go.
And it was totally worth it, because it was just like, wow, it turns out people are super interested in my mediocre poetry. But just the fact of being like, oh, I'm involved in this process in the way of like, by just pre-saving this song, this person will engage with me with this poem that no one else will get. It's an exclusive experience. And that's the kind of thing, is like making everything feel personalized, and like it's for each individual audience member instead of for the audience as like a monolith.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, that's true. More personable. That would work for sure. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I'd say you guys have done a really good job with all that stuff too, like with
you.
with the music videos, because they basically continue on, right, one another.
Right.
So is the third one gonna continue on, or is it gonna be different?
It's not really.
No?
We tried to tie it in, and we actually just wrapped up filming on it yesterday.
So if we look a little sunburned,
yeah,
that's why.
we were out in the desert,
Oh.
out in Nevada, doing a whole thing with it, and we're really excited for this one, especially because we had done it. The previous two had been done entirely on an iPhone and a tripod.
Oh, okay.
By us. So
yeah,
I was just gonna ask if it was just you guys that did it all.
yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was, yes, and then Matthew like painstakingly edited them together.
Oh, okay.
And for these, they're like, we're gonna spend the money and just do it professionally. So
Okay.
so we flew
Bit of an upgrade.
yeah, we flew a couple guys out here, and then this weekend we just had long days, and we pumped it out. So we're super excited to see how that looks, because it already, just in the camera back when he would show us stuff, we're like, wow, this is already better.
So that's than what we can make ourselves on our iPhones.
Yeah, big difference for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And like, so with all that stuff, like, paying those guys and everything like that, like, is it all just coming out of your guys' pocket, or is there like some backing there?
It's okay. It's a combo for smaller things being like streaming revenue now, and that's not more than maybe a couple hundred a month kind of thing. But that does help. We save that. It adds up, and
True enough.
like that. For the bigger stuff, it's just, this is why we kind of work whatever jobs we can get that will pay us the most amount of money. And we sort of just have a band fund each month where Matt and I put money into it and say, this will be for the stuff that we have to invest in.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I remember doing that all the time. Was anything made from the band, you just put it aside.
Yeah,
that's for the band.
So no, we have yet to take a cut personally from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think anyone ever gets a cut.
No, it's really, it's not about that too. I think that that was something that early on we were like, well, we don't care as long as we're not going into debt doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
as long as it's like, oh, here's some money, we can do that video. Done.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So obviously, I think it would be an exciting day one day where we are able to take a cut. But I think it's been very revealing meeting more people that do it professionally, and you're like, oh wow, there's like 1% of people maybe that are able to take a cut from this stuff.
Yeah, true enough. So it was just so it just took the weekend to film that video then?
Yeah, we flew them in late Thursday night and then hit the ground Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then actually dropped them off early this morning at 3:30 because they had like a 6 a.m. flight.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. So did you guys come up with the concept for the new one, or is it kind of like you worked with someone else on that one too?
It was a
collaborative effort.
Yeah, it was a combo for sure. Yeah. So Matt and I can get very hands-on with everything we do because we've just been DIY for as long as we can remember. So it's very foreign to us, and we're very skeptical when someone else wants to help us out. We don't know about that. So we had kind of a working idea with it, but it was nice having these guys do it professionally, and so they were able to bring more ideas than we could have thought. So yeah, it was nice to kind of play off each other.
Nice. And with the videos there for like A Thief in Kites, because I don't know if like for your promoting of it was different, but like I was curious to know if you did anything different between the two, just like the view numbers on there.
Yeah,
like, Kites is just like like
Kites,
beating that like
Kites was actually, it's very funny because we were like, we'll try, like we had a few guys that worked in a marketing firm in Los Angeles had reached out to us a few months ago, and we were like, digital marketing, we don't know, Facebook ads, stuff like that. We're also skeptical of stuff like that because it can also feel a little like, I don't know, cheater-ish. But so we said, we were like, all right, we'll give you like a couple $100 to try to get maybe 3,000 or 4,000 views on it. And that's all that we had, we sort of set up with them to get Facebook ads, Instagram ads on it, and provided the materials. And we just, I think, got really lucky both with like algorithm stuff on YouTube, and then also just I think the ad that we made was Matt made a really good super cut of the video for it that was kind of very captivating. And nice. So then we looked and we're like, oh my gosh, like this definitely was not what we agreed to. So it was nice to kind of, I think that's the best way sometimes to do these things, is to say like, spend a little bit of money and energy on finding someone that you trust to just give it a tiny bit of a kickstart. But I would never want to be the person that's like, we paid to get, these fake streams or bot streams on stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's too many of those. And it's so funny because you know how the algorithm is like when you're in Facebook or Instagram, you constantly see those like promotions. It's like, get on this playlist. And it's like,
I know.
Yeah.
That
so
stuff
annoying.
Does not work. I think what does work, is the combo approach of you have to make good material, and hopefully I think that we did that with Kites. And so I think that in combo with all the other tools, just kind of thinking it as like a toolbox, and you sort of use all of them to make something special. Because I know I looked at that too. I was like, wow, that's crazy. and we checked with them and like, that's just, I think the algorithm was helping you with YouTube.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? Luck has a big part of it.
It has a huge part of it.
You can work really hard, but if luck's not there, it could just go south. So
I know. I always try to keep that perspective with music. I think and we've met even people in our hometown of Baton Rouge who deserve to be famous just based on
quality.
On the quality alone. And I think music is one of those things where we have kind of a celebrity culture around it, but when you really think about it, we should be admiring what people have done, but also keeping the perspective of, wow, there's probably people who are as good in my hometown and just didn't get lucky.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. I've met a lot of people that way too, that I feel should definitely have gone somewhere. So no, that's true. 100%.
No, totally. I think that's something that also has really helped like shift our perspective on the importance of things like marketing and advertising. Because I think where like a lot of people like us and I think yourself as well come from this background of like, we just need to do everything ourselves, and like everything that we get is earned, and that's how it is for everyone else. But the reality of it is, like you said, there's just too much music going on, that it's not that if someone finds your music through an ad, it's not that you cheated, it's that how else would you have reached that person unless you're like nonstop touring and you're like going to every single city,
especially now without touring being an option. We're like, maybe we should try diverting some of the funds,
because it's not like the people who then go and watch the video and listen are like, we're not paying you to watch our video. It's just, if you like it, then you like it, and it's mutually beneficial. Like, hey, you found a band that you liked, and hey, we found a person that liked their band that we wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And I feel like it's a really like essential part of trying to grow an audience, especially in a world where touring isn't an option. But for a smaller band where touring is just a more difficult option, even in a world where you can tour.
Oh yeah, and with how passionate you can be with music, if you have those tools there that you can use to increase, people seeing your stuff, like why not use that?
Exactly.
Right.
The quality still has to be there. If the music isn't good, or if your content, your creation isn't good, then you could pay money endlessly, and if people don't like it, they just don't like it. You can't pay people to like your music.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. With like the studio you guys are recording at now, is it a different studio, or did you record the album there too as well?
We did the album there as well. It's his name is Jonathan Elise, and he lives in New Orleans.
Okay.
So he did the morning after, and he did Like a Thief and Kites, and
the third single that'll be out at the end of next month.
Nice. Okay.
So he did all that, and then we are going back. We're flying out in 3 weeks to go do 3 more songs with him. So we kind of think this is sort of the potentially the last time we'll all be able to even do it easily, because he's moving to Nashville. And I'm really happy for him. He got management representation. He's getting better and better at what he's doing. And so he's going to move to Nashville in a few months. We'll be in Los Angeles. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, whoa, this may be the last time we can easily go back home and do it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's good though. It seems like everybody's kind of, stepping forward in their
Yeah,
exactly.
goals here. So that's good.
No, we definitely, it's the kind of separation that we like to see. It's not like one of us is moving on, the other is stuck, where we're both in a place where now we're doing bigger and better things, and now we each have our own worlds to be concerned with.
Exactly. And it's always nice once you find someone that you work with that just like it clicks, and it just like you can keep going. So it's always nice to find those type of people.
Yeah, that's really
and if you can stick with them, awesome. But it's always good to have some change too.
Yeah,
definitely
Challenge yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've seen time and time again. I know Daniel was telling me the other day about I don't know if you're familiar with the band Camino.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were reading an interview with, was it them that was like,
the
producer is really
the
thing that really molds like the sound and the direction they found themselves
right, because kind of the interviewer was asking like, what changed from 2018-19 band Camino to 2020-2021, and they were like, honestly, I would love to say a lot, but we just got better production and a better team around it. And I think that they said that really helped push new stuff, new ideas.
Yeah, I remember the first time we actually went to a studio and had someone else like help us produce the songs. It was such a experience. To be like, okay, this should change, should cut this is too long. Like it was such a learning experience, but it was so helpful. When it comes out, and everyone's got their own vision of it. So that's the nice thing too, is like you can get all these different people and you're always gonna learn something else. Right. So it's nice.
Very well.
Yeah. No matter, even if you write with other people too, it's like, oh, that's a cool idea.
That's something else that we've learned recently is like there's nothing but benefit from collaboration. And a lot of people are very sort of have the idea of like, if I write a song, it needs to be how I created it, for better or for worse. And I'm like, why would you voluntarily like make the song worse?
Yeah.
If getting other people to like give you their opinion on it could make a song that's better for you and better for the audience, better for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. And because I guess you guys kind of answered that question, but here's a question for you. So in your musical influence and everything, who would you say is like your top like 5 influence for music? Like, be it like it doesn't have to be a band, it could be just like a solo artist, and doesn't matter the genre. Who would you list as your top 5?
Matt, you should go.
Okay. I feel like I always give the same answers, but I'm always happy to sort of plug the people that I really like. One of the biggest influences for me, just in terms of like sound and style, but also just like music sort of like work ethic, is this guy named Jeff Rosenstock, who is a punk and formerly like ska musician that's been very like DIY for a while. He had like a ska band in the early 2000s, and then a band that was like this eclectic group in the mid 2000s called Bond the Music Industry. And then he's been a solo artist since then. And in everything that he's done, he's managed to keep the same sort of like creative integrity, where he releases all of his music for free through his own website. And like, you can obviously buy like vinyl of it, and you can buy CDs, or like you can choose to like, give a suggested amount for it. But he's like, I just want my music to be able to reach people. And I think that that's something that's always been really important for me, is like, I would rather someone be listening to our music for free than potentially lose out on that person because there's a premium on listening to our music. So I'd say he's definitely a huge influence in how like I approach it as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. He's a good one. I hear especially the way Matthew plays guitar. Red Hot Chili Peppers is a huge one.
Particularly John Frusciante. And his style of the blending of the rhythmic guitar playing and melodic guitar playing, where guitar doesn't always have to be an instrument that's there to provide melody. It can be there to provide the rhythm, and the bass can be the melody, or they can both be rhythm and sort of giving energy to the music in a way that is outside of what you hear in a lot of like rock music, and more what you hear in a lot of like funk
and, yeah,
and like kind of
Okay,
like
yeah.
even blues,
sort of, yeah,
and,
exactly.
kind of that feel. I think for me, Blink 182 was always
Definitely.
huge.
Yeah.
Especially too, kind of like Matt said, for yes, for music, but also just for general attitude towards it, and for
Yeah, for
the way
sure.
that they perform, and kind of the idea that like you want to have a good time with this stuff. You don't want to, at least for the way we approach it, you don't want to approach it as like, I'm like the most serious rock star in the whole world.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
just, it's not, that never fit with me. And I think when I discovered Blink 182 early on, I was like, wow, this fits really well with how I want to approach things.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys were just like, if I was in a band, it's like, this is how we would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It was that approachable factor that, yeah, I think that was huge. For lyrics, I was really inspired by Saves the Day.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
That was, yeah, they were really Chris Conley, who fronts them and wrote all the lyrics. I just remember being like really amazed when I started hearing lyrics, because I think in pop punk especially, sometimes people fall into the trap of kind of the same trite sayings and
Yeah.
expressions. And I remember
Oh, yeah.
him pulling in these new metaphors and these really visual graphic things almost, and I was like, wow, that was impressive.
Yeah, our
him-
drummer, he's obsessed with Saves the Day. So
oh, nice.
yeah.
I'll have to talk to him. Yeah. So Saves the Day, and then I think probably finally, I would say, honestly, I feel like more and more it's been bands, and it's kind of encapsulated by bands like The Strokes and things like
Oh,
that,
okay, yeah.
where I liked sort of a little bit more of like that indie vibe.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think you can kind of tell from like with you guys, you got that indie vibe, even like with
Oh,
like the
thanks.
style of the music video, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And it's really cool. It fits well. So
thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I guess being you guys haven't really done shows, no one has, but because usually I'll ask a question on like, you know, do you have any like funny or embarrassing kind of like band stories that you can share?
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, we definitely have
how much
some,
time
yeah.
do you have?
Because all throughout college, we really were playing sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. So
So
we,
2 or 3 people at a time.
yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that's always fun. Yeah.
But yeah, those shows, some of them though, even when you would have like 5 people, you'd have some great
Those can be
stories.
some of the most fun.
Yeah, the one that we usually bring up and that sticks in our heads was we played at this, I used to just like call venues and email venues in town, like, do you want like a pop punk band? They're like, what's pop punk? Sure, I don't know, I guess. So I there was one that was a reggae bar in town,
Oh.
called Culture Bar, and it's owned by this great enigma of a man named Olu, who
I love him.
immigrated from West Africa and somehow ended up in Baton Rouge and opened up a reggae bar. And so I was like, can I play there? He was like, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
So we went and we played, and we always would have just like the weirdest stories, because this venue is just like in the middle of nowhere, just kind of like in a field. There's a building.
It's like it's between LSU, which is like the college in our hometown, and then our downtown, and there isn't anything between those 2 locations.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Except Culture Bar.
Okay.
Yes, it's just like right by the levee and the Mississippi River. And so we'd play, and we would just like get as many kids out as we could, you know, from college and stuff like that. And we would we'd have all these like weird shows. And I remember this one time too, we had one where he made us some jerk chicken after the show. He just like had a grill out there too.
The last band is playing, he's just like barbecuing,
yeah, he was just barbecuing
over to the side.
his jerk chicken. I was like, yeah, of course we're gonna eat it. And so he offered it to us, and Matt and I both took a bite, and we were like, whoa, it's really delicious. And then like we looked down and we kept chewing it, and then we're like, we'll eat the rest later, because it was just totally raw, the chicken. And
really unfortunate.
Yeah, and we were just like, this is gonna be great later. We'll wrap it up. And yeah, it just was so raw. And any of the shows there, like he would ask us for if we had a signature drink that we wanted to sell that night.
Like, what do your fans like to drink?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, we were like, I don't know. So we were like, let's just make a cocktail called a Sorry Ghost. And so it was a cocktail, but neither Matthew nor I drink, and so like we don't really know anything about alcohol. So I was like, I don't know, maybe just like pink lemonade and gin.
Which
Okay.
it turns out is a horrible combination.
Oh, yeah?
It's not
Okay.
good at all. I don't recommend trying a Sorry Ghost.
So we had fans the whole night just purchasing a Sorry Ghost just because they thought it was funny, and he
That's
made like a
hilarious.
good bit of money on the
Yeah,
bar
he
that
sold
night.
quite a few Sorry Ghosts. I think
Yeah.
the thing was when he asked us that, we weren't sure what exactly this information was going to be used for. So we're like, so he sort of told him like offhand as a joke, like, oh, they like Sorry Ghost. We showed up at the venue and he walks in with a pallet of pink lemonade in bottles. And we felt so bad immediately because we're like, now we have to sell these drinks.
Yeah.
Or this man will have a lifetime supply of pink lemonade that he won't be able to move. So we're like, please buy Sorry Ghosts so we can use up this pink Minute Maid lemonade. And
man.
and it's not a great cocktail, but it's sold like hotcakes.
Yeah.
So it's just pink lemonade and gin.
And
That's it.
and dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those three core
Dreams,
ingredients.
yeah.
All right. All right.
So,
Well,
yeah,
what was the ratio? Like how much gin?
90% gin, 10% pink lemonade, and then 100% dreams.
Okay.
So
I'll have to try it just to see.
Yeah,
Just to
you
see.
should. It's probably made its way to Edmonton. If you wanna,
Well, I'll make sure it spreads around here. So
yeah, spread the Sorry Ghost.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Just for the hell of it, I'll have to try it one day when I can.
Okay, yeah, let us know.
And then I'll let you know how it is.
yeah, please do. I've been told that vodka would have been the appropriate spirit to go with pink lemonade.
Right.
And would
Okay.
have actually been probably like a decent cocktail, but gin just like didn't
Didn't work.
doesn't
Doesn't
jive
roll
with,
it?
with
Okay.
citrus. So yeah. So
Oh, that's hilarious though. Jeez, that's
Yeah.
funny. And I guess because you guys are kind of going forward pretty good here. What would you say to anyone who's like kind of up and coming with a band or really trying to push their stuff out there? Would you have like any advice for that? 'Cause
Yeah,
I feel like you guys have done pretty well with what you've been doing. So
thank you.
Thank you.
That's we appreciate that, and it's always funny. We've gotten this question a few times in interviews and things. They're like, what advice would you give to up and coming artists? We're like, well, what do we have written on our whiteboard for us as an up and coming artist?
Yeah,
yeah,
you want to see our 3-month schedule?
But I do think like it has been nice. We've answered a few calls of people back home that are starting bands. Like, we look up to you guys. Like, whoa, that's crazy. You
That's
should.
awesome.
But all right. But I think the biggest advice that I try to give myself and I give other people is to work really hard with it. And to remember, because I was told this once, that no one will care as much about your band as you. And I think that's a very sobering fact, but it's an important one to remember and to keep perspective, as every single person that chooses to check out your music, you need to be indebted to, because there's just no one's going to care. And I think creating an environment where you can try to get people to feel like they're on board and everyone's a part of this thing, that we're not the artists and they're the fans, but just we're all doing this thing together is helpful for us.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good advice for sure. I'd say the same.
Yeah,
Totally.
And last question: are you ever going to come to Canada?
We would love to come to Canada. We like surprisingly have, and I think Canada is just good with rock music because we have like a surprisingly high listenership. Canada's always like our third most listened country on Spotify, and so
What's number two?
I think two
Australia.
is Australia.
Oh.
Australia is really strong for pop punk.
That's true. It is true.
weirdly the top 4, it's obviously the US since we're based here, but then the 3 underneath rotate between Australia, Canada, and then weirdly Germany.
Yeah, Germany's
always really high.
yeah. So,
And don't know why, but we apparently have like a strong German fan base.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
But no, we would love to go to
Absolutely.
Canada. I think
Have you guys ever been up here?
I have been for vacation. I went with my family to Vancouver, and that's actually it. So
Okay, nice.
yeah.
And I have not been at all as an uncultured American. I've yet to cross the northern border. But
Oh, okay.
I would
Yeah,
totally-
it's always fun like talking with like someone who's never like it's like I've maybe been to the States maybe like 3 times, you know what I mean? Like New
Yeah.
York, Hawaii, just like vacation stuff.
Yeah.
But then same with like people that haven't been to Canada, it's always fun like talking, because I remember, do you know the band Bless the Fall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so years ago, because they were opening up for Bleed the Dream, so they came to Edmonton and we got put on that bill. So
Oh, cool.
we were opening up. It was Bless the Falls, like it was their first time ever in Canada.
Oh, that's
So they're
crazy.
just like we were chatting with them, we were talking and stuff, and it was just so funny because they were just asking us like all these generic questions about Canada, like is it true? And then they just go down the list. I was like, yeah, no,
Right.
it's not true at all. It's like, oh, that part is that.
Yeah. Canada's cool. My roommate in college, he was from Regina.
Oh, Regina, yes.
Felipe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Yes, and I remember he showed us a tourism video that Regina actually used that had this little catchy tune. It was like Regina, and it was like Canada's heartland.
Was that like for the no, it wasn't. I wouldn't have said that's for the Olympics, because I remember Canada doing a bunch of stuff for that. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that-
each province does something.
yeah.
That's funny.
Perfect. But yeah, no, guys, I appreciate you doing this again. It was lots of fun chatting with you.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know you guys are definitely going to blow up more than you are already. I can already see that.
Thank you.
So I'm
Right.
excited to see what happens. And but yeah, feel free to plug in whatever you want to, man. For whatever they're listening here.
Cool. I think definitely plug Like a Thief and Kites, which are now both on Spotify. So please get a chance to check them out. And I think that also I would say just be on the lookout for later this summer, as we're going to be dropping another single. And yeah, anything else that you can think?
Yeah, just keep an eye out. We like we said earlier, we're shifting away a little bit from the album model, which means that there'll just be like an endless stream of songs coming from us every like 6 to 8 weeks. So if you haven't heard from us recently, look out, because that means you're probably going to be hearing from us soon.
Perfect. Exciting. Yeah, just have a whole year of just Sorry Ghost, just once a month.
Yeah, you can't forget us because we won't let you.
We're going to make
Exactly.
calendars for everyone with just each song for each
No,
song.
that's really funny if we made a calendar where preemptively marked would be the day that the song comes out,
Right.
and you just can flip
Be
it each
ready.
month. And like this month you get this one, circle it.
Oh,
right.
that's genius. That's actually a pretty good idea.
We're gonna do that.
Perfect. Well, thanks a bunch,
Yeah,
guys.
perfect.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, thanks again for having us. It's
Of
it's been a
course. You
great
guys
time.
it was lovely talking to you, boys. You guys have a good one.
Thanks,
You too.
you too.
Talk soon.